So I really couldn't wait to record this. It's been sort of gnawing away at me for some time, so it'd be a good idea to kind of talk about it a little bit now and maybe revisit it, maybe edit this video into two or a series. It's something I've been sort of obsessed with or preoccupied with for a long time, and only more so recently, which is fear and the negative effects that it can have on us. Obviously there's positive effects. Being scared makes you sharp in physical situations. The adrenaline kicks in, but as a low-lying sort of malaise, it's not very healthy, and it's very, very easy to create problems that aren't there. We've got enough to worry about as is. But one of the things that where this is spawning from, or where this is coming from, the source is that doing what you want to do with your life, as opposed to feeling that you have to do what is expected of you. So we have this expected sort of pattern that we follow. Graduate from high school, then go to university, then graduate university, maybe get a master's or a PhD, depending on what we want to do, and then get a job, and then work at that job, maybe a couple jobs. These days, obviously in the 50s, you'd work at one job for 30 plus years and then retire. Maybe these days, you're skipping job to job is not as frowned upon as it might have been 50, 60 years ago. But then there's also, you've got all the responsibilities that we would still have, on top of working an 8+ hour day, a home, a family, children, a mortgage, the normal things that are part of maybe a Western society. I mean, it's to some degree a bit of a global society, but I'm speaking from a Western viewpoint because that's just where I am. Now, doing anything that's outside of that, especially things that start to challenge the cores of things, like, for example, if you decide that you want to live on much less money, or live out of your car, or only work 3-4 hours a day at most, really working to live as opposed to living to work, obviously that age-old adage. But any of these things that you do that are outside of those things, you start to become judged more by others. And that can be difficult, especially for someone who is having enough difficulty with self-confidence and feel and insecurity to begin with. You take that first big step of getting out there and living how you want. Or even once you start, let's go back. Like, even if you're just talking about it and talking to friends and talking to people that are in your life about whether or not that would be something that they would be excited about and help them talk to you about and help you with different concepts. But once you start talking to people, even people that, for the most part, that you are close to you, a lot of people are going to push back because people are used to the regular way of doing things. So this fear will only grow inside if you feel called to doing something else, to living in a different way that is very independent, and you're not doing it. This fear of not doing it and wasting your life is eating you up, and the fear of doing it might even be less once you get out, once you sort of once you realize that taking that first step is actually not that difficult. And so this is about trying to decide how to take that step and where that step might come from, motivation to do so, and so on. Anyway, like I said, I just wanted to open up the dialogue on this. Don't really know how much activity I'm going to get on this video. I don't really get more than a dozen or so hits on most of mine, but again, I'd love to hear some other people's thoughts on this sort of thing. And obviously there are alternative societies, alternative places you can go and live that are off the grid per se. Even there's a number in Canada, and especially the West Coast. making that leap is a pretty severe one, and that's where that fear is born, really. So anyway, like I said, I'd like to hear a little bit more input from some other people who are watching this video, what they think. Again, like I said, I really don't get a lot of views, so if you do see this on an off chance, please respond either with a video comment or with a Twitter or a Facebook or whatever you want, just to open the dialogue. Of course, you can always go to my blog, even though I'm not sure whether or not this will actually be attached to a blog post. humblepie.wordpress.com is where I live in that regard. So if you'd like to just create some dialogue, please do so. I really would like to open this up to the floor and see what other people think. And let's move from here and let's see where this goes. Thank you. Namaste, Gas Ho, and have a good Thursday.